Good morning. I'm Paul Kunert, President and CEO of UW Credit Union. This is a special week for us here at the UW Credit Union because it marks the 85th anniversary of our founding and 85 years in our mission of improving the financial well-being of people. Here at the Credit Union, we're passionate about meeting the financial service needs of young consumers, and we're a leader among all credit unions in the nation in providing lending solutions to members attending institutions of higher education. We're pleased to be a part of an important announcement this morning in helping Wisconsin residents with access to options to manage education expenses. UW Credit Union is a member of the Governor's Council on Financial Literacy, and it's always been important to our organization to support the financial success of consumers. I want to thank the Governor and Secretary Lon Roberts for their support of the work of the Council on Financial Literacy. I'm also pleased to share that our Board of Directors recently took action, which has been approved by the Office of Credit Unions, Department of Financial Institutions, to extend the credit union's membership eligibility in order for UW Credit Union to help more Wisconsin residents meet tuition funding gaps, as well as refinance and consolidate their student loans after attendance with consumer-friendly rates and terms. Today, the Governor will be sharing more information about key resources that will help raise awareness of planning ahead for college and resources to help keep student debt loads manageable. These resources include community banks and credit unions like UW Credit Union that are already working to serve the financial needs of students. So at this time, please welcome Governor Scott Walker.
Thanks, Paul. Well, thanks, Paul, and thanks, Lon, as well, for being here. I'm going to let Paul share in this a little bit as well, but it's important to know that today what we're here to celebrate is another step in helping students and alumni, not only the University of Wisconsin system, but now people all across the state have better access to the tools they need to refinance or to finance in the first place, or to refinance their student loan debts going forward. And we appreciate the UW Credit Union for stepping up in that regard. I was saying as we came in, I've got two sons, one who's just down the way here, a senior at the University of Wisconsin. And in the past, he would have been eligible both as a student and at some point after May, he's on track to graduate in May, to be an alumni of the University of Wisconsin, to take advantage of the very competitive rates that the UW Credit Union has. But my other son graduated last year, and he went to Marquette University. And like a lot of families, sometimes you've got a son or daughter at one institution that may be in the UW system, somebody else who's in a school that wasn't. And under this proposal here today that we're announcing, or in this plan we're announcing today, each of those students, just like any other students like them, or past students, would be eligible to take access to these very competitive rates. One of the things I've heard time and time again, we're up to almost 65 listening sessions through about 2 weeks ago, and one of the things I hear frequently, not only from the high school students we invite to come to our listening sessions, but to parents and even to employers, are concerns about how to make college more affordable, that students in high school today and their families are concerned about that. Certainly students in college today continue to be concerned about that, and those who've been, particularly in the recent past, are concerned about that. We're proud that over the last 4 years we've been able to freeze tuition 4 years in a row at all of our University of Wisconsin campuses. That's the first time in state's history. But in the decade before UW tuition was frozen, tuition in the state went up 118%. 118%. That was on average a little bit more than 8% per year annually. And so that means a lot of people, a lot of students who were in any of our UW system schools before the freeze started, potentially had some pretty big student loan bills, because when you see the tuition going up that much each year, while some people had saved ahead, and that's great, but others certainly had to turn to a student loan, as many do across the country. For those who'd been current students or students in the past here in the University of Wisconsin system, obviously the UW Credit Union gives an incredible option. But we, through the Department of Financial Institutions, came and said, we got to look at all the different options out there. There was some debate and discussion last year about using state taxpayers' dollars to create a separate and new authority, another layer of government, like they've done in some other states. And instead, as we looked at it and said, well, we could do that, but UW Credit Union already has very competitive rates for students past and present within the UW system. Let's approach them and see if that's something that could be expanded to students past and present across the state of Wisconsin. And so the exciting news that Paul just talked about is their board of directors approved, and earlier this month, the Office of Credit Unions and the State Department of Financial Institutions approved the ability of the University of Wisconsin Credit Union, UW Credit Union, to be able to provide those same competitive rates to any Wisconsin resident, both as a current student or someone who's been a student in the past, at any accredited institution of higher education in the state, those same competitive rates they offer prior to this announcement. And so really this offers a tremendous opportunity for students not only to get student loan financing, but particularly for those looking to consolidate or refinance that. You've already got UW Credit Union with competitive rates. We're thrilled that they're willing to step up and provide this option for residents from all over the state of Wisconsin to give them what's not only competitive with what other states have talked about, but where they might be depending on their circumstance, even in their current situation. And so, Paul, thank you to you and to your board of directors. Lon's going to talk about in a moment a little bit as well where we were able to create through the Department of Financial Institution a new student loan debt specialist, and he's going to talk a little bit about the new website that we've got that talks about helping people identify what their options are, like the one we're announcing today, and even as a calculator for people to figure out what their amounts are. So I'm going to turn it back over to Paul as well to thank him. And then I know Paul's going to be around for a little bit at the end. We unfortunately, because of a funeral on the other side of the state, have to leave here shortly, but we wanted to make sure we got this announcement in today because it's a big issue that people are talking about. I hear it time and time again, not only at listening sessions, but at other venues across the state where people say, what can we do about the cost of higher education, the cost of colleges and universities in this state? Certainly keeping tuition down in the first place is priority number one, but particularly for those who've been students before the freeze, we want to give them as many different options, as well as those who might be at private colleges or universities beyond the UW system. We want to give people in this state, particularly young people just starting out in the workforce, as many quality options. And what UW's Credit Union has stepped up to do is a remarkably positive announcement. We're thrilled to be here with you today, Paul.
And now I'd like to introduce Lon Roberts, the Secretary of the Department of Financial Institutions. Welcome him and thank him for the efforts he has undertaken to reach out to lenders in Wisconsin, learn about our business, and to understand what we're doing and what we can do to serve people in the state. Secretary Roberts.
Thank you, Paul. It's a pleasure to be here. This is one of the great days for the Department of Financial Institutions where we can marry the private sector with the government sector in a variety of efforts that really will help the students and families in this state as they try to manage student debt. So the first thing I'd like to do is say, look over here at Look Forward. This is our new website, lookforward.wi.gov. And look over here and you can see that what we're talking about today with the help of UW Credit Union is being able to cover the whole state with the private sector, not only with the support of UW Credit Union, but 13 other financial institutions in this state. We've got now 175 locations in the state of Wisconsin that are going to be available to families and students as they deal with their student debt, and a private sector that's robust with products and services that should be able to help those people. That resides inside the Department of Financial Institutions. We're very proud of the work that we've been able to get done with the support of the governor and the private sector with respect to our website. And we're really proud that we're able to have the kind of distribution network over here represented by this map that will allow people, families and students, whether they're at the campus or whether they're at home or whether they're at work, to be able to access the private sector products and services. We also have, and with the support of the governor, been working with the students in other ways, and particularly with the student debt specialist that resides in our department. Cheryl Weiss has got a variety of expertise and has gathered a whole lot of services and various resources that also reside at our website that will be easily accessed as people go to lookforward.wisconsin.gov. We're, as I said, excited that we've got the support of the private sector. We're really excited that the governor has been willing to spend his efforts to try to boost our efforts at the Department of Financial Institutions to support a very critical issue in this state, and we've made a lot of progress through the last 6 months, and we look forward to a lot more progress and being even more effective in trying to find solutions and find avenues where people can look at alternatives, not for everyone, but for those folks who find the private sector solutions appropriate for their situation. These tools will help them do that. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Governor, for your support. Thank you, Paul, for the support of UW Credit Union, and we appreciate very much your interest in this particular project at the Department of Financial Institutions.